only lost 2. Show me a guy in the top 10 that hasn't lost. And almost all of them been knocked out. Almost all of them been cut. Almost all of them been knocked down but me. So on that alone should give me the qualifications to be the champion. I've earned that right.
A good right by Lyle. A good right by Lyle, and he's got Foreman in trouble.
That's something. Only certain guys can do that. Ron Lyle was one guy who could hit you so hard it didn't hurt.
That's not some rookie talking. That's George Foreman, and the man who made him say that, a gang leader. A man who died twice on an operating table, then came back to knock people out cold.
Lyle all over. Lyle has Foreman in trouble. Foreman is down. It started with a right, then a left. Foreman looking over here.
In 1975, Ron Lyle wasn't just another opponent. He was a storm waiting to happen. But could raw power and prison-born grit be enough to silence the greatest talker in boxing history? Let's rewind to when a gangster went toe-to-toe with the greatest. Ron Lyle didn't come up through Olympic trials or golden gloves. He came up through solitary confinement and hospital stretchers. Born in the tough streets of Denver, Colorado, Lyle's early life was a war zone. In 1961, during a gang clash, he stabbed a man in what he claimed was self-defense. The court didn't agree.
Well, I don't think I did, but the judge said the jury thought I did, so I guess I did.
He got locked up. Inside that concrete jungle, he almost didn't make it out. Lyle was stabbed in prison. He flatlined twice on the operating table.
I was stabbed after the shooting.
Wasn't that when the prison doctor signed your death certificate?
Yeah. Well, one of them did. Dr. Townsley, he didn't give up.
Most of them Lyle did. Behind bars, he found boxing, and not just shadow boxing in the yard. Actual talent. When he got out, he was 28 years old, ancient to begin a boxing career. But he had fists like wrecking balls and a chip on his shoulder the size of a cinder. Within just a few years, Lyle bulldozed through respected heavyweights like Oscar Bonavita, Buster Douglas, and Jimmy Ellis. He didn't just win, he terrified opponents. The man growled and politicians, not by other figures, and certainly not by pain. But Lyle wasn't interested in hype. He came to end the conversation permanently. The year was 1975, and Muhammad Ali was in the middle of one of the most iconic chapters of his career. He wasn't just fighting opponents, he was fighting time, critics, and the lingering shadow of his exile. After being banned from boxing in 1967 for refusing the Vietnam draft, Ali spent years stripped of his title and reputation. But like all great stories, his comeback was nothing short of cinematic. By the time Ron Lyle stepped into the picture, Ali had already